Hello, welcome back to Genius. Okay, so let's continue our table class and let's talk about table accessibility and responsiveness. So basically, I didn't even want to include this class in this series, but it might be advanced. There are certain things you'll be seeing here that you've not seen before, but if you don't understand it, no problem. But I just want you to understand that there is something like table accessibility and responsiveness. So try your best to grab what you can grab. Okay. So table accessibility and responsiveness. Now we all know that tables are used to display structured data, not for layout. We don't use table for the layout of our HTML page. We use table for displaying of structured data. So when tables are not built properly, they become hard to read. It becomes impossible to use with screen readers and break badly on mobile devices. So when we talk about accessibility, we are talking about making our table accessible to both visually impaired people who are using screen readers. And again, how does our table make sense on mobile devices? Okay, so this class shows you how to build tables that are accessible, responsive, and user-friendly. All right. Now, what is table accessibility? Table accessibility means that everyone can understand and navigate through your table. The table that you're creating, the table that you're designing, if that table is accessible, it means that everyone can understand it and navigate through the table. It includes um, screen readers understanding it, screen readers, screen reader users, keyboard only users. Sometimes, not some people use only keyboard to navigate through your website. So those people that are using only keyboard, how are they going to navigate through your website? Is it going to be easy for them? Users with visual or cognitive impairments, okay? So mobile users, your table, how are these people going to um, use your table? Is your table going to be accessible to all of them? Accessibility focuses on semantic HTML. So whenever you want to make anything accessible, all right, you have to really focus on using semantic elements. And in the last class, I mentioned some of the semantic elements we could use in our table, the thead, the tbody, and the tfoot. So always use correct table elements. Look at what the structure I have, and I have the table. I have the caption. Caption is for accessibility. I have the head. I have the T body. Okay, but I don't have the T foot here. But always use the correct table elements. Why does this matter? Screen readers understand table rows and columns. Okay, so data relationship are clear. So when you use semantic elements in your table, screen readers understand your table rows and your table columns. They understand the relationship between the data that you're displaying. Okay, assistive technologies can also navigate logically. I know this might be sounding somehow to you, but like I said, try your best to grab what you can grab. But if you don't, no problem. So always use your caption. Always use caption in your table. Okay, why is caption important? It describes what the table is all about. First thing that is read by the screen readers is your caption. The first thing screen readers read about your table is the caption. It helps all users to understand the table context. So with the caption, everybody would understand the table context, what the table is all about. Do not replace caption with plain text above the table. Don't just come and put a plain text or using H1 or H2, whatever it is, on above the table element. Use caption inside the table element for descriptive text about the use your caption for descriptive text about the table. So use TH instead of TD for your headers. For your headers, use TH. Okay? Use TH for your headers. Do not use the TD for headers. So something like this, okay? We have the product as the header. We have the price as the header. So when you have your column headers, or your row headers, make sure you're using th. So whenever you have anything like a header, all right, it should be your th. Don't use td. Td is for the actual data, the actual value. Screen readers announce headers. It helps users. Okay, so screen readers, they announce headers. Helps users to know what each cell represents. So use your th for your headers because screen readers always announce headers. So whenever they see a th, screen readers announces it. It improves navigation and understanding. Always use the scope attribute. Use the scope attribute for your headers. So you could have some headers for the column. You could have headers for the row. So make sure you're using scope. So this scope is telling us that this th is actually a column header. Okay, we can also use for row headers too. You use the scope and give it a value of row. Why scope matters, it tells screen readers if a header applies to a row or a column. So whenever screen readers see the scope attributes, all right, it tells them exactly what that header applies to. Does it apply to a row or does it apply to a column? It's essential for complex tables. Screen readers, the scope attribute is essential for complex tables. Always use the t-head, the t-body, t-foot. Make sure you use your t-head for column headings. Use your tbody for the main data and your tfoot for your totals or your summary. What are the benefits here? Okay. Okay, so as I was saying, all right, screen reader, the benefit is logical grouping, is better for screen reader navigation. Okay. So it's for easier styling and scripting. Okay, when you have these groupings, it's easier for styling and for scripting. Okay. So avoid using tables for your layout. It is not good to use table for when you want to do your menu. All right, you don't use table for it. Your navigation, you don't use table for it. You use the header, the nav, the main, the section, the footer. These are the what you should use for your table layout. Sorry, for your page layout. You don't use table for your page layout. Tables are only for data, not for the page structure. All right, we have more semantic elements like the header, the nav, the main, the section, and the footer. So, color contrast and readability. Your text must have sufficient contrast. Do not rely on color alone to convey meaning. So when you have something like this, red, you are using red to show that somebody failed, or green to show that somebody passes. It's not enough. Add labels to it. All right, add labels to it or icons. It would help. All right, don't just use color to convey meaning. Add labels or icons to it. For keyboard accessibility, accessible tables should be readable without a mouse. If your table is accessible, it should be readable without a mouse. All right. It allows users to scroll and focus on cells. Okay. Avoid hover-only content. All right. Avoid hover-only content. Avoid click-only interactions without keyboard support. So now the thing is this: if your content is only hover-only, if you have hover-only content, what of people who are not using the mouse? What of people who are using the keyboard? All right. So click-only interactions without keyboard support. All right. What of people who are not using the mouse? How can they click? So this you should avoid doing it. But anyways, this is advanced, but I just want you to have an understanding of this, no matter how small you understand it. Basic tables do not need the area. Okay, only use area when you have a complex table. So we are not talking about accessibility in details yet, but you can have a table and give it a role of table and the area label. So when we talk about this role attribute or the area label attribute, it actually helps for accessibility. So, but don't use it for on basic layouts and basic tables. They are not needed. So you only use it for complex tables. That is when you use the area, the role, and stuff like that. Never replace semantic HTML with area. All right. Don't come instead of you to use tbody or thead, you're going to do area, you're going to give role or this thing. No, don't use area to replace semantic elements. Now let's talk about table responsiveness. Responsive tables adapt to small screens, phones, without breaking or hiding data. All right. When your table is very responsive, it is available. It doesn't break or hide data when they are in mobile devices. But there are some problems with tables on mobile. Tables are wide. If tables are wide, if the content overflows the screen, all right. So when you have a wide table, the width might be wider. The tables might be wider than the width of the screen of mobile devices. All right. The content might overflow the screen. So horizontal scrolling will be difficult or uncomfortable. Okay. So now, how do you prevent horizontal scrolling? You will have to use some CSS styling. Okay. I'm not going to talk too much about this because, of course, we have not done CSS, but you can use CSS styling to make your table be responsive. In this case, now we are saying this is we wrapped the table instead of a div, and we have a class called table wrapper. And with this CSS class selector, we are saying overflow X is auto. You might not understand what this means now because we've not done CSS, but this would actually make, if the table goes to a smaller screen, all right, the overflow would be automatic and the browser would automatically make it work. It is simple, it keeps the full table, all right, and it is best for large data sets. So when you have large data sets, you should actually make it responsive, especially wrapping it around inside of a div like this and making the overflow to be auto. You can use maximum width as 100% so that the width of the table will not go beyond the width of its container. And you can give it the border collapse of collapse. So this ensures that the table doesn't exceed container width. All right. You can see that I'm not even, I'm just bringing this to your notice. If you don't understand it, no problem. So transform rows into cars on small screens. So these are a couple of solutions to when you have large data sets, scrolling could be uncomfortable. So how do you prevent it? You can actually wrap it around inside of a div and give it an overflow of auto, or you can actually make the width 100% and make the collapse border collapse and set it to collapse. So you can also transform every row into cars on small screen. Let me show you what I mean by this. I will go to I already have, look at this table that I have here. This is the table that I have here. If I run it now on wider screen, so this is what it looks like on a wider screen. But what if I say right click and then inspect? You can see now on smaller screens, you can see, I don't know how much you can see this. They are now in cards. Okay, I can't really scroll. You can see now, these are table rows. Oh, these table rows have become cards. They have been designed to become cards. Okay, it is very, very responsive. Look at it. On smaller devices, very, very responsive. Okay, so but there's no need showing you the code, all right? But the thing is that we have turned the rows. If I take it back to a wider screen, you can see it is in rows now. This first row, Paul, Ada, Abraham, all of them now turned to a card. If I take it to a smaller screen now, they all became cards. You can see this Paul card. I don't know how much you can see this. All right, you can see the Paul, you can see the Ada, you can see the next one, Ibrahim. They are all in cards, and you can even scroll. So now you can actually style your table with media query. I don't know how to explain this now because we have not talked about media query or CSS. So, but there are a couple of things here. All right, for those who understand can understand. If you don't understand, no problem. Okay, so this is the styling they use. So if I go back to my own code, I'm going to show you the style I'm using. So this is the CSS style. This is the CSS style. All right, this is the CSS style. So this is the CSS. So I'm not going to explain this because we've not done CSS. Like when I started this class, I told you that this is somehow advanced and you might not understand certain things I will be discussing, but I just want to bring it to your notice anyways. So the result will be like each row becomes a card, just like I showed you. On wider screen, it will be a row, but on a smaller screen, it will be a card. It will be easy to read on phones. It is very user-friendly, and then it has less important columns. Okay. When you're working with scrolling, you can hide you can hide less important columns. It's not every column that might be important for the user, so you can just hide some of them. You can use short text and wrap content. Okay, so the content can also be, this is actually CSS. All right, you can actually use word wrap to wrap the text so that it doesn't overflow, something like that. This prevents the text to overflow. You can use icons and abbreviations carefully. Always add two tips. Always include text alternatives. So you cannot, some of your elements, you can give them the title attribute. All right, you can give them a title attribute. So accessibility and responsive best practices. Use caption, use TH with scope, use group table sections, ensure color contrast, avoid layout tables, enable horizontal scroll, test it on mobile before you even host your page. Make sure you test your table on mobile. Test with screen readers, keep data readable, do not hide essential content. Common mistakes, missing caption. Don't miss your caption. Don't use TD for headers. Don't put tables inside tables. You don't use fixed width. Don't use fixed width. Use percentages. Hiding data without alternatives. Okay, these are common mistakes. Using tables for page layout. So when to use tables for reports, results. When you have big data, schedules, financial data, comparison chart, that's when you use tables, okay? Do not use tables for page layout, for forms, for cards, navigation menus, okay? So thank you very much for your patience. I know that most of the things I just said there, you didn't understand some, but it is okay. Just do your test and then I will see you in the next class.